Good afternoon, everyone. Today is day 200. Not with my RS today. I'm in this courtesy car because my engine has failed. It's been condemned by Ford. Now I know the questions will be asked, so here's the history of my car and my ownership of my RS so far. My car was a model year 2017.5. It was built the first week of March this year, 2017. It's been run from day one when I collected it on 99 RON fuel. At the time of failure and Ford condemning it, it had done 9 miles, 3,500, 5,000, 6,500, 7,100, 8,500 miles in my hands, and it was 6 months old. I have done no track days, no circuit track days. I've done one wet grip handling day, which was all low speed stuff at Rockingham. I've had 2 rolling road runs, and I've launched it 6 times. So here is the timeline of the failure after the 8,500 trouble-free miles that I've had so far. First thing I noticed was the coolant loss, the dreaded coolant loss. It was completely obvious to me when I popped the bonnet just over a couple of weeks ago that the level had dropped significantly, but I hadn't had the misfire at that time, so I didn't immediately run for the phone. That was just before the weekend. Then over the course of the weekend I thought, do you know what, I can hear a misfire. Didn't manage to catch it on camera at the beginning, but I phoned the dealership then on the 4th day after I first noticed the coolant loss. Over the next 10 days until I managed to get it into them, the misfire was certainly there. Not every start, not every morning, not every night, but it was there kind of randomly, just a few times over the first few days. The last 2 days before I took it into the dealer, on day 14, it was every single startup. Then it went into the dealer for the inspection. They stuck a boroscope down the plug holes, had a look in the combustion chambers, had a lengthy Q&A session with Ford over the state of my car and whether it had any modifications or not. And then they immediately condemned it. They said I wasn't to drive it anymore. I got a call that afternoon from Ford Rental, and they immediately, same day, arranged for me to have a car to drive home that night, and I've got this indefinitely until such time as they fix mine. The very next day I went back to the dealership again to get all of my contents out of the car, now that I knew I was going to be without it for some time. And while I was there I got chatting to the tech guy about what he'd seen, and he actually took me into the workshop and showed me the boroscope image of what he saw in the combustion chamber, and what was a very, very clear picture of the edge of the piston, the cylinder wall, and a puddle of coloured coolant. While I was at the dealership, Ford actually called and gave absolute confirmation of an engine out date. A complete engine was going to be delivered, and they set the engine out date for 2 weeks from that day. The dealership I use hasn't done one of these before, so this is going to be a first time. The chap that's going to be doing it used to do work on my Fiesta, so I know it's in good hands, but they haven't done it yet. So they've got no idea what's actually coming from Ford. All we know is that he said he was told engine out date 2 weeks. He also said that I had an error code on my exhaust flap. Oh, I had no idea I had a problem with my exhaust flap. I've certainly, in the 8,500 miles and 6 months that I've had it, never once seen the drive mode's unavailable message. So as far as I was aware, there was no problem, but he said there was an error code for it and he's going to apply a software update while he's got it. And that is how things stand at the moment. So I'm expecting to get it back sometime around, I don't know, day 35. So 5 weeks all in from when I first noticed it, 2 weeks after that until inspection, and then apparently 3 weeks is about what I'm going to have to wait to be able to drive away in my car with a brand new engine. So I find myself stuck in the mighty Ford Cougar until then. I'm quite laid back about the whole process, really. It is what it is. No point getting overly stressed out about it. You know, what will happen will happen, and at the end of it I'm going to drive away in my car, hopefully with no issues, but with a brand new engine in, new turbo and new clutch, as I understand. If anyone out there knows otherwise, please let me know, but that's what I think is going to be fitted. Now, this Cougar is a nice enough place to be. Seem to have done all right, actually. I was only authorised for a Ford Focus, but the hire company I don't think had anything appropriate for me. It's the most powerful one they do, 180 horsepower, four-wheel drive, the dreaded diesel. It's all right. It's no RS though. I really miss the feeling of the RS, the theatre of the RS. I keep remembering what it's like to drive the RS and trying to recreate a bit of that within this thing, see if I can connect with it, see if I can get that feeling that I'm missing. So far in this whole process, the dealership I'm using and Ford have been absolutely faultless. They sorted me out with a car the second I needed one. I've got it indefinitely. I know what's happening. I know when it's happening. I will, of course, be updating as I go through the process. The dealership have, well, hopefully they're going to allow me some access. I'm hoping to get some stills at least of the engine when it arrives, and maybe my car with the engine out, so I can keep documenting the history and the process and see how it goes. I hope you found this useful. If you did, please do give it a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.